Why, hi there, it's me, it's Uncle Ron, and why did the heck that close? I got a mailbag for you. I asked you on my Facebook group, Retro Sports Network, and on the Digital Dice Discord if you had any questions for me, and you guys responded. And so let's get right to it. However, the stuff I had in my group closed. So 1 second while we get this. The joys of recording. Some schmuck by the name of Gardner asks, I want to know why you're not streaming. I actually, every other Monday, I have someone that comes in at 1 o'clock, which means that I need to be done by 12:45 at the latest. And we were doing errands at my appointed streaming time. So that's why I wasn't streaming, and instead you get this high quality broadcast. Actually, Dave has some good questions I'll read in a few minutes. He actually took some time to send me some good ones, and we'll do that. John Kuzniak, Midlife Crisis, asks, have I given up entirely on action PC football? I miss your calling games. I appreciate that. I don't really enjoy calling football, and there's a balance of giving people, you guys what you want me to do there. I've made no bones about the fact I think there's some stuff in Action PC as the kitty cat but gets comfy beside me. Things about the game I'm really not a huge fan of. I personally just think it's a very deep game, and I'm not a huge football fan. And I found myself at times. Am I really going to sneeze right now? At times, yep. Hold on 1 second. There, you didn't need to see that. I found myself at times getting bored. It is a deep game, and I know a lot of people enjoy it. And again, I'm not going to say it's a bad game. It just didn't really fit. I tried doing some pro strategy football this past year. Again, Kerry Batts and his mod team, Mike from in the truck, and others did a wonderful job getting some graphic designs in every season from 1940 forward, and so on and so forth. And I got some real stinkers, and no one was watching live. And baseball is my favorite sport, as you know. I could pretty much do that in my sleep. So, if you have an idea for me, a short-term project for me to call some football, I'm all ears. But as far as me pulling it out to do, I saw this question was there, and so I asked Dave, and he misses my football calling too. Again, not my favorite sport, and I got it's also the longest to do. I can do an action PC hockey game in about an hour and 10. So again, if I'm flattered that you like the calls. Maybe we can figure out something short term to do that wouldn't be a full season, but that's pretty much why. Once you get behind a football game, we were talking about this the other day. Once you get down 14 points, it's almost impossible to come back. All right, David Baseball Demos says, what is my favorite pun? I don't have one. It has kind of come to me naturally. He is the king, by the way, of puns, and if you're not subbed to Baseball Demos on YouTube, you really should be. Jeffrey Mills asks, I wonder if he's any relation to Stephanie. Oh, that would be the next question he asks. What has been my favorite replay thus far? Jamie Marshall was talking about how much he enjoyed the 78 replay, which we did in 2020, which ended up, that is the season that I first got really, really, really into baseball. And because of the way the world was that particular year, we just went every day for weeks and weeks and weeks and weeks and weeks. I would say, it's cliche to say that turning 14 and whatever season that was would be your favorite. But we did 85 2 years ago, and I think that might have been my favorite post-season. That was the one where, spoiler alert from something I did in 2022, that the Toronto Blue Jays nearly blew a 3-0 lead to the California Angels in the ALCS, and John Tudor just went absolutely nuts in the NLCS, including getting 2 pretty easy wins in the World Series in St. Louis's sweep of Toronto. 82 was fun. That was my first favorite. I would go with 85. That was really good. It had some crazy stuff happen. As far as strange endings and stuff, in 78 we had the Rangers upset Ron Guidry and the Yankees in Game 5 of that ALCS. Even last year, when the playoffs seemed to go on forever with that extra round, Seattle coming down from 3 games to 2 to walk off Game 6 of the ALCS against Oakland and then win Game 7 was pretty redeeming. So there's highlights of that, but I would say 85. That was the right amount of stuff. But there's been highlights to every one of them. Why is easy listening music so hard to listen to? Because you don't hear me DJ it. That's why. Some of us who like that, not Manavani and that's just terrible. But Yacht Rock Radio, a veritable cornucopia of your fourth or fifth favorite song, right? What do you derive the most pleasure from with your social media channels and podcasts? The podcast is fun because of the involvement of all of you. And Dave is fun to work with, and we work very hard to either get good people to interview or find the right topic for a given week. And so the give and take on that is wonderful. The show will be 5 years old come July. I went kicking and screaming into doing something to have a Facebook group. But generally, coming on, the channel was designed to entertain people at lunch because not many people are on. There's lots of people on at night, but not so much during the day. And baseball is perfect for that. You can call the game. You can chat about what people want to chat about in a given day. And it works, and I really enjoy the give and take of that. What is the area code for Nashville? 6 something. I looked it up. If Gardner and I get to that, we'll have been on the air for 30 years. Don't push your luck. Although your daughter might own every WNBA record in the world. All right. Pesky Paul, Michael DeBresky asks a bunch of questions, but his joke ones are, what's your favorite game? You really think I'm going to answer that? I will say that my favorite game that I don't stream is Stratomatic Basketball. I think it just flows really well. It fits with my style of play. And it really, really works for me. I know you're a huge replay guy, but I just love the cards and dice, even though you're not actually rolling any cards and dice. I played the game another day. Game 1 of the 85 NBA Finals. The Celtics below a 17-point lead. Larry Bird scores the last 5 points, and the Lakers fall apart in overtime. So that part was wonderful. But for favorite game that I don't stream, although I've done a couple videos on it, I would say it's Stratomatic Baseball. What is my least favorite game and why? Again, you really think I'm going to give you an honest answer to that? The Coleco football game from 1982. Handheld thing, and I don't know if I got water in the circuit board or what, but every time I went to throw a pass, the game would break. And whoever bought it for me, it was like $60, which was not 60 24 bucks, but 60 1982 bucks. That was a lot of money. I didn't like that. I certainly preferred the Mattel Football 1 and which I had in Football 2, which my best friend in elementary and high school, Tommy Trombetta, had, because you could pass, and it was great, and I'm old. The other least favorite game I'll talk about is Football Manager. Someone bought that for me. Lorenzo, dear old Lorenzo, bought that for me a few years ago. Wanted me to do some streams. You buy me something, I'll at least look into it. I did some streams, and I dropped my one and only F-bomb in the middle of the stream because I was so frustrated. The game is so good and so detailed that you really need to have a PhD in football or soccer to get to understand it. It's just too deep. And now I like hardcore things, but that was a bit much. So indirectly, I answered your question. All right, let's go to the ones in Discord. Hey, look, it's Pesky Poll again. How about that? What is one game or type of game or feature you would like to see? For example, for me, it's college basketball and PC replay with seasons from the 1980s. I would agree with that. Hold on a sec. I gotta take a drink here. Action PC has some not some full college seasons, but some conferences. I would think that college basketball would be a big one. Hmm. Maybe I'd like to see some seasons for a tennis game. That would be cool as opposed to the all-time greats there. There are seasons for golf game, one game or type of game or feature. I would like to really see a good IndyCar game. Motorsport from I was at is pretty good, but I would really enjoy kind of like a I mean, there's Motorsport Manager, but something along the line of a NASCAR, a good solid NASCAR sim, not like iRacing or an IndyCar sim. I would play that, especially the IndyCar because I like that. But I can certainly see where college basketball for PC replay. I'd like to see Strat do some college basketball seasons too. But that would be a really good. There's a game that used to be made called as a freebie called NASCAR Grandstand. Had a whole bunch of seasons, and you could literally sit there and run on cards and dice an entire NASCAR season from qualifying all the way down through. Something along that line, maybe a little computerized for that. Easier to play Formula One game. There is classic Formula One, which is a tremendous game, but has a learning curve that kind of encompasses Mount Everest. So maybe a medium play car racing game, I guess, would be the one that I would like because everything else is just kind of out there. All right, Turbocharge, college football and college basketball for Strat. There is cards and dice. They do have the college football for the computer. I'm not sure. There are some college football games out there. Again, Second and 10 has several thousand teams. But college basketball, I'd love to see that done in Strat. Comprehensive college and pro football games developed by OOTP with the same features. No, never. I don't think you'll ever see that. I know that at one point they were talking with Jim Gindin from Soulsmith about having one done, and they backed out, or they backed out. OOTP Developments is now run by a Korean company, and I'm afraid to see what they're going to do with that. But if you haven't tried front office football, Wolfie, you should. And the college game was delicious. Historical seasons are tough, and along with most of the game companies, they Jim get Soulsmith Software was a one person operation. You should be talking with Anthony from Glory Days. He's about to release 2020. I think did release 2023 for his pro football game. That's a good one. And never say never to a computer game for sure. Your actual question is: Will Strat ever open up their offerings and reproduce classic 70s and 80s seasons in mainly hockey and basketball, as well as the out of print baseball? What they've done for on the baseball front is no, because there's too much money to be made restricting availability on classic seasons. You know what? They've released 3 or 4 seasons now per year that are reprints. So yes, I could definitely see them issuing some reprints in baseball. I don't think, there are no retro seasons card and dice from basketball, and that's too bad because the game plays really well. And I think their sales have said that there just isn't enough interest in the retro seasons for hockey to do that outside of the 6 and print your own, which personally I think is is there, but I'm not sure they'll redo anything. They need to redo 81, 82 because they messed up the goalies for Vancouver and the Kings, and Gretzky could never hit his numbers. So I would just kind of put that for them. I agree that for the Card and Dice fans, there should be some retro basketball seasons. But yes, you wait. They reissued 69 last year, 84 they've redone. I honestly think, I think they'll probably do 2 or 3 in addition to what they did this year. It's just a hunch. And the other thing is, once Baseball Max goes live, they're going to know what people want to buy. I mean, it's a great tool for data mining for them. They'll see what you're playing. The Diamond Gem sets have gone over really well, and you may see more of those. And those are, I believe, only Cards and Dice. David C. says, in 2024, with all the game creators and companies in the marketplace, are there any sports you feel are unrepresented in Cards and Dice and could be added with enough market share to be worthwhile? See, that's where you get it. We're kind of all doing niche stuff. There's fantastic games out there for thoroughbred racing and a couple of good car auto racing games and a skiing game. He would love to see a full play rugby game, but how many units would a game like that sell? Probably not many, although rugby sevens are an Olympic sport, and so someone catches fire with it. You just never know what could or could not happen. But as far as something based on Six Nations or World Cups, I'm not sure. Again, depends on what people want to buy, and how easy is it to play. I mean, I've played a cricket game that's out of this world, and I don't really know that much about cricket, but it's pretty much limited to test cricket as opposed to they do 1 days and all that. Rugby would be one. I mean, Roberto Savini has done some wonderful games on auto racing and sailing, all the Olympic sports. His horse racing game is pretty good as well. Underrepresented. I would think going back to the college sports, college football, college basketball, college baseball, college hockey. I mean, the Stars of Tomorrow, or that. So I would think American college sports, and maybe I know that Matt and Craig have touched upon this some in Pocket Pennant Run, but minor league baseball and Japanese baseball, I think they would do okay. They're not going to sell thousands and thousands. And there you go with what does it do to make it worth your while? Is it 50 sets? Is it 100 of that? But I would love to see more college sports developed, would be my guess. There are some college basketball games out there. Marco Walter, I believe, has some seasons for regular season basketball. But as far as full of that, they're hard to find. So I would say college athletics. All right. Mr. Gardner had some serious questions. I'm going to take another drink. What game looks like fun, but you haven't tried it yet? We did Payoff Pitch together. That looked like a heck of a lot of fun to play solo. I've played just 18 gazillion games. I would say Payoff Pitch. Solo. I'm looking forward to doing Anthony's Glory Days Pro Football 2. That looks fun because that's a hybrid game. I've played Shootout. I've played Stone Cold. Dice Unite. It's great. I've played so many different games. I'm going to stick with Payoff Pitch. He also asked, what game is the most fun to stream? And what game is the least fun to stream? For me, the least fun is actually PC football because, again, once you get, if you get a good game going, that's one thing. But you get a blowout or it just kind of takes too long and I kind of lose lose the wind out of my sails, especially with that. Most fun to stream. I've done 18 gazillion Action PC baseball streams, and they tend to be fun. Hockey can be real fun to stream too. Action PC hockey, just because the animation's now gotten better, and the games are closer. But I mean, as far as types of games go, anything that's just kind of real close at the end and just kind of get you going. That would be probably the most fun. What was my biggest disaster during a stream or as a stream? Well, we talked a little bit about it earlier. The Football Manager stream, which probably also was not real fun to do because it felt too much like work. When I dropped the F-bomb, that was not a heck of a lot of fun. I had a Super Bowl my first year where the stream died in the fourth quarter between the Cowboys and the Steelers. Unfortunately, I caught it and was able to not run a play. That's always fun. The time I yelled at somebody, that was pretty much a disaster. Don't tell me how to do my lineups. Any time that the computer overheats or that, but I guess those would be the biggest disasters. But we've both done this enough to realize that if someone hands you a pile of chicken poop or lemon juice, that you can turn it into chicken salad and lemonade. But those would be the two. Anytime that you get something into good, again, my first Super Bowl, where you're coming right down to brass tacks. I think Dallas had just pulled ahead, and it went out. And you lose all that momentum. Then you got to stitch it all together. It was fun. What game would I like to stream? But no, it probably would not be that much interesting to watch somebody play. Motorsport. Just because you can stream pretty much any car race in history and have it come out. But just pure rolling dice and hitting sort on Excel isn't the most exciting thing in the world. Roberto Schiavini's Olympic stuff is great too. I've done a couple of those. But no one is really going to watch you roll dice for the scores of volleyball games. The sprint races you can do as a 100-meter or 200-meter, but no one is really going to want to watch you do a sailing race or a boxing tournament like that. I mean, those are fun to do when he has done his work. Let's see, what else? Like I said, I tend not to stream the Stratomatic stuff because it takes too long to play, and you'll lose something there when you're trying to play the game, stream the game, and broadcast the game. So Motorsport, I think, would be my top one. I got to refresh myself with the rules. It just is the right mix of, it's not too terribly long to play. You get the full feel of cars passing each other and losing something, either crashing out or pit stop trouble or whatever. But it gets too confusing. I've done it a couple times in an edited form, and last year forgot to record the end of my Indy 500. That was great. So that would be that. There's some great years in Formula One where the championship was decided by 1 or 2 points. They'd be wonderful replays to do. Like I said, it's about an hour a race. It's not that long to see, but I think that would be that. What are some things you'd like to see other people stream for games? Whatever Al Red Sox fan wants to show, I'll at least watch a few minutes of, whether I'm going to play the game ever or not, just because he brings a good enthusiasm for the game. I'd love to see people stream more of the offbeat sports, such as tennis and golf, and commentate on them. There's some really good tennis and golf sims out there. Time Travel Tennis, ASG Golf, Action PC Golf, that play well. I think they stream reasonably well. But again, in the golf world, it's kind of hard to do a full-fledged replay of that because not everyone's a superstar. You're turning into see if Tiger Woods can win this week, and you've got me instead. We're trying to make golf work, but I would love to see other people do that. I still would love to see you actually take on a hockey replay of some sort and do it because you're a good storyteller, and I think replays tend to build momentum as you go along. And they're Al does a good job with doing some Springfield stuff. I'd love to see him do. Well, he actually is doing a couple of replays. Let's see. Again, tennis and golf. I'd love to see more of on the channel. There's some people, although I'm not a huge wrestling fan. Utah Mike does a great job with that. Be interested to see people do some of the console games without the play-by-play coming on the screen, just because of the graphics for that. And love to see people, even if it's not the most visual stuff in the world, stream what they love to play. I know that people are doing the play tennis games. I'm seeing that pop up there. The Face to the Mat is a good game because it's just pure storytelling. I know Rob is doing red, white, and blue racing. Be curious to see actually some Inside the Paint from Inside Ports played. I guess those are some of the things. I always like to watch people get into a project that they enjoy because their enjoyment in playing whatever it is can be infectious to the screen. And so, more cards and dice. I don't think as a whole we do a great job because it's difficult to do, and it's really difficult for me to do, to show off those games. We tend to go to the computer games because they're easy to stream, easier to explain. There's visuals there. You can kind of relax to do it. No one wants to see me typing in a spreadsheet. They really don't. I've done it a few times. Fast drive football, fast inning baseball. I think a playoff in fast inning baseball would be awesome. Just a give and take. You could do a best of 7 series in about 45 minutes to an hour and get the full thing. I might do that at some point. So that would be what I would do. So there's a question that someone asked me about managers and that, and we'll get to that another time. And I want to get to some of the writing questions that people had. So if you got another question for me, put it in the comments below and we'll do this again. Hey, thank you so much for watching, and thanks for all that you do for me and for the rest of the community. I'm Ron Juckett. We'll talk to you the next time.